Mark Rogers TV bringing you college football analysis for the smart fan. And we bring in John Casilla from Noon's Magician. It's the SB Nation platform for Syracuse athletics to talk up the Orange class just concluded on signing day last Wednesday. Number 9 ranked in the ACC, number 51 across the country, according to the 247 composite. All right, John, we've gone through this cycle a few times together in discussing the Syracuse recruiting efforts. Your thoughts about this particular Dino Babers class?
I'll take it. You know what? It was a small class, just 18 deep. I know I made the point on the site, like being able to rank around the top 50 with only 18 players, I feel like is a nice step forward for us. We've got 3 spots left that may or may not be filled by some kids who are verbally committed. We might go the JUCO route, could always just go grad transfers to fill a couple of those roles. This is definitely the best class that Dino's put together since he's been at Syracuse. Obviously, the first class, really kind of had to make things up on the fly. Coming in December, didn't really have a ton of time. Last year, I felt like we started building towards something. And this year, obviously we didn't win on every big player battle. Lost Tyrone Sampson around the early signing period, and he actually still hasn't signed anywhere. And then we were in the mix for Mikhail Salahudin, who ended up going to Pitt. He was that 4-star running back from DC. Lost to Pitt on that, which unfortunate. I'd rather lose to a team and not to play every year. But at the same time, I felt like we did get several 4-star kids, depending on the ranking. And I really like the class, and I think it really addresses a lot of our needs, especially on the offensive line, where we're going to need to improve in a hurry.
So let's dig in a little bit, John. You mentioned at least, depending on the service, at least 1 4-star, maybe a few. Obviously, if you're just looking at the star rankings, those are the where the eyes are going to gravitate. But in regards to the information, all the information you collect, all the word you get from different scouts and different coaches, and what you read about these particular players, and what you see in looking at the video, who excites you?
I mean, for me, I think it's going to be, again, the guys that fill real pressing needs for us. Kadir White's a kid from the Bronx. He's a really big offensive tackle. I think he's somewhere around, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I think he's somewhere around 330 or so already. Weight-wise, he's a big kid. Could be a real stalwart for us on the line for 3 or 4 seasons. Trill Williams, one of our other 4-star guys in 24/7. He's going to play corner. Pass defense has been such a struggle for us in recent years. Anyone who can kind of come in there, make some plays, play a little bit closer to the kind of Tampa 2 coverage scheme that Dino Babers runs, that'd be ideal. I'm sure most Syracuse fans know this listening, but for those who aren't Syracuse fans, we did kind of transition from a blitzing-focused 4-3 to a very coverage-focused Tampa 2. So it's kind of like fitting square pegs in round holes in terms of the secondary in particular. So getting the last 2 years, we've gotten 4 or 5 kids each year in the secondary. And I think that's going to start to pay dividends, if not this year, then the year after. I'm excited about them. Excited we got a couple of running backs, Akeem Dixon, as well as who was that? Jarvian Howard from Mississippi, actually. He had offers from Mississippi State, a couple schools down there. Able to get him. Still kind of looking for a power back. Maybe it's somebody on the roster. Maybe it's one of these guys. But we do need probably somebody a little bit more between the tackles, with a lot of our running backs being a little bit faster. And that's not necessarily going to help when we have, kind of a 2 to 3-star kind of offensive line in front of them right now.
John Casilla joining us from Noon's Magician, the SB Nation platform for Syracuse athletics, talking football, of course. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel for the very best in college football analysis, and the audio versions you can find at Podbean, Stitcher, and iTunes. Dino Babers in place for a considerable period of time now, 3 to 4 years. Do you see any mark or difference in his recruiting approach versus what you've seen in the past?
Yeah, I'd say year one, it was, trying to keep a class together, trying to keep some relationships going from his time at Bowling Green. So you saw a lot of kids from Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, just trying to get guys in the door. We ended up flipping a couple kids from Bowling Green and some other MAC schools, and that was fine. And you kind of take that, because it's how it goes with coaching change. You're going to have that kind of transition year in the recruiting cycle. Year 2, you started seeing a lot more of that speed come in, that we're going to need to run Dino's system on both sides of the ball. And then this year, like I mentioned, I thought we took a reasonable number of swings at some 4-star kids. You have to have the obligatory 5-star offers just in case. But I did feel like overall, like we did a nice job of spending time on the right kids that were going to come in, make a difference. And I think a lot of these guys, just because we've been a young team for several years doesn't mean that the freshmen coming in can't, get on the field right away.